Cool. All right, everyone. Good morning. Cool. Yeah, you're on camera. All right. How exciting. We're literally almost to spring break. I also start my spring break next week, so I'm sure we're all very excited. I'm just curious. Raise your hand if you're like going out of the state. Oh my gosh, so many of you. That's so cool. I'm like, I want to go on a drive, but I'm not sure. I just want to leave early. So, well, super cool. I hope you guys have a great spring break. But first of all, we're going to be doing a little bit of an activity, collaborative things, because we're going to be talking about representing 3D objects in 2D. And this is actually a topic you'll be going over soon in this class as well, since you're in geometry class. But I just thought this would be a really fun activity to do right before you go on break. So, basically what we're going to be going over is I'll introduce this lesson. You each should have a worksheet called Vessels of Water. It's double-sided. If you don't have one, they have extras in the back. So we'll be doing that as individuals, then discussing. We'll have a class discussion, and then we'll do a matching activity, and that's why you're in groups of 3. We have poster paper. It'll be great. We'll walk around and see how everyone else did it. It'll be just a good time. So make sure everyone has those papers. Okay. Let me make sure, I'm just going to make sure I have this time so I know how long I'm going. Okay, so for the standard of what I'm teaching is basically you are visualizing the relationship between 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional objects. So what does that mean? You as a student are going to be able to see by drawing and matching various shapes to understand how they correspond with each other. So, exciting. Okay, why on earth would you want to care about 3D and 2D shapes? Well, have any of you done anything with like 3D printing or seen video? Yeah, we have a couple. It's pretty cool. My brother has 3 3D printers, which is a lot, but he is really into designing different objects and printing them out. But in case you don't know, 3D printers are interesting where you use a software to create a 3-dimensional shape, and when it prints in 2D, of course, but over time, becomes a 3-dimensional shape. So, in order to understand that, you have to understand how 2D and 3D shapes work. Because if you're going to build something, you need to build supports, you need to understand how it rotates and what it's going to look like. Architecture, if they draw blueprints of buildings, those are in 2D, but they have to be translated into 3D. Computer graphics and video games, I used to want to be a video game software designer because I love video games. I'm kind of a nerd. My favorite video game, I played World of Warcraft when I was like 12, and I played it for like 5 years. So. That's a fun game. But if you play any games that are 3D, it takes a lot of time to code each individual pixel and how it's going to translate over. All of that is through 2D and 3D shapes. And then art. I'm sure many of you, I've seen many of you are very talented in your art, because I've seen on your worksheets like different doodles and whatnot. You have to understand 3-dimensional shapes and perspective in order to draw it and paint in a way that looks realistic, right? So I'm just explaining all this to help you understand why on earth you want to understand and learn about this. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the first worksheet we're going to look at. I'm going to read it with you guys just a second so you can make sure that you understand what's going on. So basically you have 3 3-dimensional shapes. And it says the 3 vessels are full of water. So imagine if you had a ball, or a sphere in this case, and it's filled completely with water. Water flows out through a pipe at the bottom of each vessel. So that's why you see a little line. Don't get too caught up on that. It's just to help you understand the water is flowing out of the bottom. So I want you to sketch diagrams for each vessel to show how the shape of the surface of the water changes as the water flows out of each vessel. And you're going to show your drawings and describe what shape that you're seeing. So, in case you need a reminder of what the surface is, think of the surface level. It'll be whatever the top is of the water level. So, for this case, maybe draw 5 different figures at 5 different moments when the water is flowing out. Okay? Does everyone understand what I'm asking you? All right, we're going to take a few minutes, probably 3 minutes to start. If you finish the first page, go ahead and turn it over. But all I want you to do is to start with the first page, and this will be individual work. So I want everyone to just be thinking and working to themselves, and I'll be walking around and seeing what you're doing. So you're going to head and get started. 3 minutes. see a top view. It should be, if you're looking down at the shape and you see the water going down, what do you see? Oh, maybe let's think about it a little bit.
Going down for the piece coming out.
So the shape of what you see.
Little circle, medium circle, big circle.
Okay, and then real quick, if I can have everyone's attention real fast, just to rephrase, you're not having to actually draw the vessel, so you don't have to draw a circle and then what's inside, just draw the shape of the water itself. I'm gonna walk around with an example if you need to leave a little. Go ahead and keep working. So, you're looking down at it. Okay, and then how would that change as the water goes down? So, yeah, that's a cool way to look at it. So then what shape are you seeing on top? So that's what I want you to see. If you're looking down at it, what shapes are you seeing? How are they changing? How would you describe it? Aerial views, if I look at the top, looking down at it. So, you're looking down. So what would you see here? Go ahead and keep moving on to the next shapes if you're already done with the top one. And right now, I see a lot of different answers, which is not a bad thing at all. Maybe we'll talk about it in just a second. Yeah, that would be right.
Aren't they always going to be sometimes in the long after the circle?
No, but like it's hot.
I know.
Yeah.
So that it would just draw this top surface.
What's the one for me? Kids are with this. This is our work.
Kind of fun. We'll come back in just a moment. If you want to compare with your partner, now is a great time to do it because we'll discuss them as the class.
I mean, you can't say the word.
Okay, so now we're going to come back together as a group. So if I was to start with the first one, who thinks they have it right? I'm just curious. Raise your hand if you feel confident. Can I see what you did? Okay. Would you be comfortable showing it on the board for us? You got it, dude. Ms. Margaret, you can just draw on the left of that board there. And what would you be?
Becky.
that's what he drew. Okay. So why did you draw it like that?
Because it starts out small up here and then it slowly gets bigger and then back to small.
Okay. Does everyone see that? So it's interesting. So it's almost like you take a piece of paper and you slice it through, right? So if you were to look at it, if you're just looking at one little sliver, what would it look like from the top? So this is what the top view would be. We're looking at 2D, 3D to 2D. All right. Does anyone feel confident about the second one? How they did the second one? No? Maybe you're ready? Think so? All right, we're gonna have Bria come up and show us the second one. So if you're looking straight down from the very top of the shape, I want to see what it would look like. All right, everyone looking at the front. Okay. So Ria, can you explain why you started with a big triangle and you went down?
Because if you like look down, like the shape at the top is like bigger, and then if you look down, it gets like more like cones, so it's rectangular.
Yeah. Does everyone see that?
Still, it's not possible.
No? Let's see. So I'd like everyone's attention real fast. Everyone's attention. Big silence. Okay. So if we're looking at the second figure, what shape do you see just on the surface of it? Just the top. A triangle. You just see a big triangle, just like Ria had drawn. If you went down a couple inches, still looking at that top view, you went down a couple inches. Is it still a triangular shape? But what's happening? It's getting smaller. It's getting smaller. And it'll just keep going down until it's a little dot in the corner. Do you see that? So it's about taking off from the top of it and going down. It takes a second to visualize it. That's why we're doing this. Because it may be new to some of you. Does anyone feel confident about the third one that they want to share? Anyone feel confident? Or I can just check it too. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, we've got a variety of answers here. Okay. Would you be comfortable sharing what you got? Yeah. What's your name? Caleb. Okay, we're gonna have Caleb come to the board, and he's gonna show us what he got. We're gonna raise his hand.
Okay, wow.
Okay, so you can draw right here.
You're digging yourself a hole, you want to get out.
All right, but everyone can pay attention to the front of the board. See how Caleb's drawing it. Are we seeing this? This one's a little different. The shape is changing. Caleb, can you tell us why you drew a smaller rectangle and then it turned into a square?
Because it starts out small and then it widens out near the middle and then it goes back up then again.
Oh, so if the sides are angled, great job, Caleb, good job. If the sides are angled, suddenly that changes how wide, how small, how shallow it is. This is what I want you guys to be seeing. We want to see the relationship between how the sides of the shape can dictate the two-dimensional figure we see. Okay, so this is just a great introductory activity. If you guys are still having a hard time seeing it, we're going to continue to work on this and you'll see a little bit more of the relationships. So, I'm actually now going to turn your worksheet over. On your blank piece of paper that you each have, I'd like you to split it in half just by drawing a line. You draw a dotted line or a middle line, either way. And then number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on one side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the next side. Okay, most people have that now. What we're going to be doing here is I'm going to display different three-dimensional shapes, and you'll visually get to see the water in it this time. So the other time you kind of had to imagine where the water level is, and this time you'll actually get to see it on the screen. So, whoa, I zoomed in. Whoa, I didn't know I could do that. Okay, here it is. Next. So, here is water flowing out of a cylinder. And here I have a visual representation of it if you want a little more clarification. This is what it looks like. So for number 1 on the left side, I want you to draw what the water level is, right? So you're gonna, when I say that, I mean when you're looking down at the shape, I want you to draw what the water surface looks like, right? Don't worry about the actual glass or the shape. Just what do you see on the top? So you're gonna draw a picture in number 1, and then we're gonna slide and draw one number 2. I just want to give you a second to think. Draw number 1. Okay.
We'll do the same size all the way.
So just one. Okay, looks like we're ready for the next one. So if I go to the next one, see how the water level is going down? What shape do you see? Draw it on number 2. Same. What do you notice? Top view. Always top view. If I go to the next one, number 3, does it look the same? Does it look different? Draw it on your paper. Okay, we're gonna go to the next one. Same, is it different? Looks like we're getting a little faster. And then the last one, same or different? Okay, this is just to help you visualize what it looks like when the water level's going down and you're just looking from the top. Okay, I would love to see your papers. Can you hold them up for me so I can see how it's looking? Okay, looks like we have a good understanding of it. Okay, perfect. So, if we're looking from the top view, this is what we're seeing. A lot of you see that. We're looking at it from here. So we're gonna have a little discussion. All right, do you have your cards? Yes. Okay, so I know you guys have done this many times where your teacher has called you by name. If you don't know or aren't sure how to say things, that is totally okay. This is just an open atmosphere where we're here ready to learn together. Is Luke here today? Yeah. Luke, where's Luke? Here's me. Luke. So what do you notice about the shape of the water surface as we look down at it? It didn't change. Why do you think it didn't change? Yeah. Because what is the shape of the what is the shape we're looking at? A circle, right? As it's going down. Perfect. Suddenly we're looking at a glass and it's consistent all the way down. So it keeps the same shape. Okay. Thank you, Luke, for sharing. And then do we have Connor here? Connor, hey, nice to meet you. So I want to ask real quick, what would happen if we tilted the cylinder before slicing it? How might the cross section we see change? So instead of holding it like this, if I'm holding a glass, what would happen if I tilted it?
It would look like an oval.
It would look like an oval. Oh, let's see. What do you guys see? You see an oval? You see right? You see it? Okay. Maybe things that we haven't thought about before, right? It seems simple, but this can actually teach us a lot about shapes. If you look down at it, suddenly it's a different shape. I know, this is simple stuff, but there's a lot we can learn from it. Okay. Well, let's do it from a different perspective then. I want to look at it, if we're looking at it like this, sideways. So on the right side, you have your left side already filled out. On your right side, I want you to start drawing from the first part. What is our new shape? What do you see? And instead, we have water filling it instead of coming out of it. So I want to see, what do you see? If we go to the next one, what do you see now? What's different? What's changing? go to the next one, number 3. All right, number 4. And then number 5. What do you see? What do you see? Isn't this fun? Well, simple, but you guys got it. Okay. So I want to see your papers. Hold them up to me. I want to see. Okay. Okay. All right. So I love how you each do different. Okay, we have Audrey here. Hi, Audrey. Okay, so I'd like everyone's attention real fast. So Audrey, what did you notice when suddenly it's like this? What shape did you see? Why do you think you saw a rectangle?
From the top view, like everything's consistent.
But it's like it's circular.
Right.
Why would you get a rectangle? Why do you think you get a rectangle?
Because the sides are flat.
The sides are flat. Oh, okay, so that's an interesting way to look at it. So if you're only looking at it, you guys have graphed many things on graphs. If you're looking at a plane is always going to have 4 corners, and it's just going to be flat, right? When we're dealing with water, it's always going to be flat. So when we're looking at 3-dimensional shapes, it's almost like you're plotting points at each of the corners, wherever the water meets the object. This is key for your next activity. So the water is where we're going to plot our points, and you're just going to see how those points meet, because that will dictate the kind of shape that we have. And our next activity, you're going to have a little bit trickier shapes than this, because this is pretty straightforward in showing you what you have. But the other ones might be a little more confusing. Thank you so much, Audrey, for your thoughts. Okay. So, in case you wanted to see the answers, here we are. And it's important to show a little bit more of a drastic change. Some of you had drawn them a little bit equal. As we see, that's not the case. It got bigger, smaller. It was like a tiny sliver. All right. So now we actually get to do the fun part. We're going to do a little group activity. So what I'd like each of you to do is appoint one person in your group. They're going to come up and grab the poster paper, and they're going to grab one stack of our card set, right? So you're going to grab one stack of these, a poster paper, bring it back to your group, and I will explain the directions. Go ahead and get started. Pick one person, come grab your materials.
Good boy.
It's fine. I can do it. Yeah, you're welcome to. Okay, awesome.
Go, Rio. Go, Rio.
All right, and if you already have your materials, you should have some scissors, some glue at your table. I would like you guys to cut out the cards individually because we're going to match them, all right? And notice some of the cards are not complete. They have dotted lines instead of shapes. I'll need you to draw what shapes those are supposed to Three papers. So just the rectangular squares around each one. So yep, all cut out. So all of your cards should be cut out. So go ahead and start cutting them. And then I'm just going to re-emphasize real fast. If you see shapes that are just dotted lines, that does not mean that's what the shape looks like. It means it's missing and you need to draw what it's supposed to be. Okay? All right. So just to explain, as you're cutting, other group members can look up at me. So your task, technique, and time. You have 2 different shapes on each of these cards. One is full of water and it's flowing into the other shape. Each of the cards on the other shapes represent the different shapes. So each one of these main cards should have two matching cards to go with it. One to represent the top object and one to represent the bottom object. So what you're going to do is when you match them and you complete the drawings, you're going to glue them onto your poster, and I want you to explain why it matches. All right? And then at the end of that, we're going to have people walk around and compare, see how other people did it, how they explained it. And so we'll just keep doing that, and you guys are going to have about 10 to 15 minutes to be able to complete this activity, because I want to give you a chance to look around and see what other people did. All right? So I should hear discussion, I should see people matching and drawing and cutting, gluing. If you have questions, I'll be walking around.
We need to have extra so I think we need to one each shape. So I
Here's another pair of scissors.
We can test that through the pad.
That's hard surface. One you go two. The two goes first. Alright, so this one goes to that one. Go to that one. Good, are you putting it to
So these ones, those are
No. Wrong. Oh, wait, no, you're right.
Okay, well.
Yes. So for this one, these
So
two.
you're looking down from the top.
Cause like we can do that one with this one.
So if you have one side that's looking straight, the other side is so it's almost like if you're looking at a cylinder, you look at it now. Okay.
This one I
Oh, yeah.
Wow, you're really
Just a reminder, you're always looking from the top. These are what the shapes are from the top. How's it going, guys? What did you notice these two? What do you notice?
It's like a passive shape.
Yeah.
Turns into like
I see. Yeah. Or a sphere, right? So it's like they're the exact same, just one's cut in half. You see that? Yeah. Yep. You're going in the right direction. Keep going.
Don't wait on those.
How do I maybe just take this and like that?
Look at this.
But no, this one is wider. That's the answers for me.
Okay, let's start with what so basically,
And there we go.
so if you're looking at three-dimensional
Oh, yeah.
shape, water it is, you're looking at the top. So if you're looking at
Exactly.
Why would I do that?
Not start here. Down.
That was
I know you're
what
with
it
me.
so here,
What am I
when we
quit?
get left on the side,
looking down.
Hey Connor, we glue the right ones down to the paper, right?
Yep. So that's what it is. So you're just matching with different cards and shapes. I see some gluing. I see some great discussion going on. If you have questions, let me know. Oh, you just done.
So that was gonna be this one.
And then don't forget this shapes.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll do this one.
Okay, where the heck's it gonna?
On
Yeah,
it.
take this one out.
Okay, we're gonna come back together in about, I'll give you another 4 minutes. I see some people a little behind.
Yeah, okay.
So make sure to look at it from, yeah. So this one is draining, and this one is filling up. So the water is going here. Right, right.
You have to think. That's my fault. I said take it back. No, that's right.
So, oh, I see what you mean. So, we'll start with, what do you see here moving down? Yes. Yes. Yeah, and this helps too to see what we're
And then find what?
Oh, it's not.
This is the middle of this one.
Oh my gosh, we're finishing it.
And then this one.
Oh, no, these two go together. And that's short as well. Oh, it's oh, but this would be a but no out there. Because when it's all of them, right? So it'd be a show.
Okay, and then if you've completed it, I'd love you to write on the side, what shapes are you seeing? Why did you match those shapes together? Because if students are looking around at your poster, they want to know, wait, why did you put it there? Maybe put a bullet point or two next to your cards to say, oh, this is why.
Oh, they are lower, huh?
It's going out that way.
So you've got one
Let's
paper
glue them up.
with
Pause.
Is this one for the bottom or the top?
Oh, well, I think we have those up.
So, yeah, each one of these matches to one shape. So you have a second card? Yes. No, it's
For you.
that would start off top. So you should have 2 of these.
So the other one should go with this one. She said for like shape, there's 2 shapes here.
But what is the
Which one? Because he's drawing another one and I have
You should just cut off the top.
Well, this goes to that one.
Alright, Basil, Carl. Draw the other side. I know.
No,
You should have one.
like that. That's a
Alright.
certain roundabout. It is.
I know how to do what I do.
Yeah. I think it was that. No, because I didn't drop the paper. I did not know that. Oh. No, I did it.
Okay, so because we're running short on time, I want you to just finish up what you're doing. We're gonna have everyone kind of walk around and visualize, okay, what other things you're doing? Some people are done, some people are not, that is okay. Oh, just draw that out. We'll just need to move on as fast as possible. Do better.
Oh, just do one for another, there's lots of those things around. If your post it runs out, you throw it in. Yeah, you can toss it if they run out.
All right, so what I want everyone to do is I want everyone to stand up, no matter how far your group has gotten. I want you to each look around and look at the other groups and check their work. Do you see other shapes that didn't match yours? I want you to think about that.
Ours is not organized.
Ours is very organized. Wait, why did everyone else do this?
I think we did okay.
You guys go around class, look at the other groups and
Rio, you lost so many
You did lose a lot of pressure.
Rio, you lost like half that. What is he in the class?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get a second paper, so it's not my fault.
There was not two papers.
There was, I was trying to do that other three papers, two papers, so I only got like three papers total.
Oh, shit.
I missed a paper.
Well, this is
That's your fault. You should have gotten three. This is your fault. How do you do your fault? You didn't fill out all three papers.
All right, I want you each checking. Are they doing it right? Do they do it different?
That's why I was just writing eight
I did this
All right, now everyone can walk back to their seats. And I want you guys to review what you've done. Are there any shapes that you feel like you need to fix? Add more, fix, change.
I don't want to cross
Don't probably run there once, that was, because that was after we did like the hearing.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot more.
So then if this
And we were in there for like 15 minutes.
maybe
Yeah, because you don't have.
okay about it? Any changes?
Behind me and grab my legs, yeah, try to turn around.
Alright, and then at the same time here is the answer sheet here, so you can check your work.
Bro,
See
yeah,
how you
that's
did.
and sit on the wall till he yelled at me so many times. He kept yelling at me, and I just, everybody kept yelling, no one cared. for us to go and sit by him.
Coach actually was like 5. He tried to shoot it like
Alright, can I get everyone back to the front real quick? I'll let you get back to talking to your groups in just a second. Okay, so I'm curious.
That's 5
Can you
points.
guys raise your hand if you liked this activity? I'm just curious. Raise your hand if you thought this was kind of cool.
What'd you name the class?
Yeah? If you didn't, that's okay. I'm just curious. I know sometimes you don't always do a ton of hands-on stuff, but when you do, it can be kind of fun because it gets you thinking and working with each other. So if you didn't get a chance to finish your double-sided worksheet, you can look at that and see if maybe you can visualize how to complete it. But really, you know, you're going to be dealing with shapes a lot, especially next semester. You'll be getting into three-dimensional shapes and volume. Water being in shapes can represent volume, which we'll be discovering soon. So thank you so much for participating, guys. I really enjoyed teaching your class. And if you guys have any questions about college or even, you know, just want to hear what the experience is like, you can always just ask. But it's been a pleasure.
What up?
Put them on the ground right
Yo, we took like